Hey guys, my name's Miranda and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about the HBO miniseries Sharp Objects featuring Amy Adams based off of the Gillian Flynn novel Sharp Objects. I read this book back in December 2017 and I really enjoyed it. It was my first Gillian Flynn novel, so my first taste of her dark, twisted, yet very fulfilling writing style, and I absolutely loved it. As you can see, it's a thin book. The writing's not too big. It was a quick read for me, but devastatingly brilliant nonetheless. I really enjoyed this book. I felt very scrubbed clean emotionally, I guess you could say. The protagonist in this story, Camille, is very emotionally charged. It means that the plot in this story is also going to be emotionally charged. As somebody who works in the mental health field, I felt that I could empathize a lot with the protagonist Camille in this story. She's definitely somebody who really struggles mentally and emotionally with everything that's happened to her in her past, as well as the events that are currently happening throughout the story. I really enjoyed the protagonist in this story because she was raw and real and she had flaws, yet she was somebody that you would definitely see out in the real world. At the end of the book, I definitely felt like I couldn't decipher internally if I enjoyed her as a character or if I disliked her as a character. I think that she went through some tumultuous things that happened throughout her childhood, as well as the current events that were happening in the book, and it really created a well-developed atmosphere as well as a well-developed character, which I think is probably the biggest kudos that I would have to give Gillian Flynn in this novel, is that her characters are very well developed. I loved this, really, honestly. It's a dark, twisty ride, and basically what the story is about is that Camille Preaker is a journalist who is struggling mentally and with mental illness and with things that have happened in her past, and she is asked by her boss to go back to her hometown of Wind Gap, where there are apparently what they think is serial killings of little girls. So I guess a year prior to this moment, a little girl went missing and then was found strangled, and then today, present time, there's another missing girl that Camille's boss wants her to go and write a novel on. He thinks that it will help her deal emotionally with things that she dealt with as a child and just be a very good experience for her. So she goes back to Wind Gap, where she's estranged from her family. Her mother is very weird. I can't really say too much without giving away the book, so if you haven't read it, I don't really want to go there. All I'll say is that her mother is really weird. They're estranged. She doesn't have very good family ties with her. I guess her mother got remarried 30 years prior, and then when Camille moved away, she ended up having another daughter, so Camille has a half-sister named Amma. I think that the first episode of Sharp Objects on HBO did a really great job of staying true to the novel. I was watching this, and like I said, I haven't read the book recently, but it was making me remember everything, and I was like, oh my god, that is so similar to what the book is. It's making me want to pick up the book again and follow along as I'm watching the show. What I thought was really cool is that HBO broke this up into 8 different series episodes. And at first I was like, oh, well, it's a short book, how are they going to break it up? But then after seeing the first episode, I was like, wow, it's very detail-oriented, it's very true to the book, I loved it. The one complaint that I do have is that the character of Amma portrayed in the show, I don't think is very true to the character in the book, or again, this is my own opinions, my own feelings. I felt like when I was reading these interactions in the first couple of chapters of the book that I felt as though the relationship between Amma and Camille was a bit more sinister, where I couldn't tell if Amma enjoyed the fact that she had a sister or like wanted to reconnect with this person that she's not seen in years, or if she wanted to, I don't know. But when you're watching the show, it definitely seems different. You don't really get that sinister vibe, I don't think. It's more of you're trying to suss out Amma as a character. Definitely different than what I pictured. But honestly, that's the only complaint. I don't even know if that would be a complaint, but that's the only thing I have to say regarding that, because everything else is true to the book. And let me tell you, Amy Adams is amazing. She really takes on this character of Camille Preaker and does it 110%. I feel like that's what really cultivated a great retelling of Gillian Flynn's novel, and that's what's making it so true to the story. So I'm definitely excited to see what they do with the rest of the book. Like I said, I haven't read it in a while, so I don't really remember the intricate details associated with the book, but this show is really making me want to go back and reread this and follow along. I know a lot of my friends on Bookstagram read the book before they started watching it, like recently. I think there was a book read-along for Sharp Objects, which I thought was amazing. I just really didn't have enough time to participate in that, but a bunch of people read the book Sharp Objects, and then a bunch of people tuned in last night for the premiere of Sharp Objects. So I feel a little behind in that aspect, but like I said, I'm going to try and read along with it because it's so interesting. And I'd really like to know what differences this show is going to bring to it. So this adaptation is definitely a surprise. And I think everybody in the book world was very excited to find out that Sharp Objects was going to be brought to life, especially by HBO, which typically puts out high quality miniseries and or general series overall. So I'm going to give the first episode 5 out of 5 stars. I thought it was amazing. Like I said, I only had one little complaint, which was that the character of Amma didn't really give me the same feelings as it did when I was reading the book. But that's to be expected. I don't know the internal dialogue going on in the main character's head if I'm watching it on TV. It's not being narrated, which I appreciate. I like the fact that it's not doing that, because for people who haven't read the book, you're left wondering what's going on. Is this person struggling emotionally? Is this person just guarded? Why is she guarded? Why is she estranged from her family? I was watching it with my boyfriend last night, and I feel as though he is going to have a great first-time exposure to this plot line because he's not read the book yet. So he doesn't have those internal dialogues making him biased or unbiased. So I thought that was very interesting. I'm definitely excited to discuss with him a little bit later what he thought. And I found it very hard for me not to tell him what was going on while I was watching it, because as I said, I was remembering a little bit of the plot line in the story when I was watching the show, and I just wanted to be like, oh, this is happening because of this, and Amma is doing this because of that. But I really had to contain myself and make sure that I didn't give it away to him, because I'm really excited for him to see this. So like I said, first episode reaction is a 5 out of 5. I thought it was amazing. I love this book. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 on Goodreads. It's one of those books where after you read it, you need to take a break from this genre for a little bit, I think, because you're just like, what the hell just happened? And you internally reflect, I think, as well as externally reflect about the people around you. And at the time, like I said, I was working on an inpatient psych facility, so I just found myself psychoanalyzing myself and all of those around me, which is definitely interesting. Another thing that I wanted to bring up was that I did discuss a little bit with one of my Bookstagram friends, Erica at the A's Read. She had mentioned that while the HBO miniseries is very true to Gillian Flynn's novel A Sharp Objects, that kind of disturbed her a little bit. Objects is definitely a trigger warning book. There's a lot of triggers in this book. The main character is a cutter. So to see that come to fruition in front of your eyes in the form of an adaptation of a miniseries, I think could definitely be triggering for some audiences. It's a little bit different when you have your own mind's eye cultivating the image in front of you when you're reading the book. So I definitely think that you should take that into consideration before reading this, or maybe not. Maybe you think that it's not as true to the book, but I would definitely love to hear what you have to say. Okay guys, I'm super excited. If you guys tuned in last night to watch Sharp Objects on HBO, please comment down below. I would love to hear what you thought and have a conversation about it. Do you think that the storyline is true to the storyline in the book? Do you think that Amy Adams does a really great job of portraying the main protagonist, Camille, in the story? Are you excited to see what happens next? Alright guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for visiting my channel, and if you're new here, definitely don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and have a good day. Thanks guys, bye!